Hi guys, this is Carlos from Fabtcg and this is another chapter of Myths Back on the Menu Boys, where I go through my Talishar Rhinar games and I analyze what I do, what I did, the plays, and try to improve from there. I'll go through many games facing different heroes during different metas and sets. So this is another one facing Verdance. Let's go. Hi everyone, this is a new chapter. As I said, today we are facing Verdance. This has been a tough matchup for Rhinar, I would say, but with this build, with the Meataxe build, it should be much better than before. Of the top 3 heroes, Gravy, Syndra and Verdance, with this Meataxe build we should be able to win, I would say maybe quite easily or better than before against Verdance. We see here I'm choosing here what it should be the preferred or most suitable sideboard options for Verdance. At this point, we play with 60 cards, that's for sure. Yellow Bugwiles should be in the main deck, so they should be always in this deck. This is a change from what I've been playing before or what I've played at Coli in Valencia. And then we're missing 2 slots. Since we are not using Erase Face, probably some people will think, well, maybe against Verdance Erase Face is good. It probably is, but I don't want any generic cards in my deck. I prefer going face and going fast, and if you draw Erase Face after a Blood Rush Bellow turn, is not quite the ideal situation. So I prefer to use Erase Face against heroes that really affects their hero text. For example, Dash IO or even Syndra, even if Syndra can go and surpass that problem with the failed tokens, but against Dash IO, for example, Erase Face is a must. Not against Verdance for me, because maybe they can just throw a spell for 6 and that's it, and then Waning Moon, so they sent what they wanted in their turn and it didn't matter. Then I'm not choosing Song of Sinnoh because this is for the aggro matchups. I'm not choosing Splatter Skull because again, Verdance players and Verdance decks tend to block really well, so it's gonna be difficult to hit with Splatter Skull. Then Thick High Hunter is there for other matchups, so we're using an extra copy of Limb from Limb to try to high roll and present even more damage than possible, and I will run 2 copies of Pulpin, since they will probably have many D-reacts, but if we plan our turn we can throw the Pulpin after intimidating 1 or 2 cards and after the opponent has already defended with 1 or 2 cards, so they are left with no cards in hand after the extra intimidate from Pulpin. So even if they have D-react in arsenal, this will go again. So we are playing with AB2 with a Skullhorn, and let's see how the game went. In this case, the opponent starts, and as I said, we are playing with a Skullhorn, Savage has Apex, Bonebreaker, and Beaten Trackers. I'm not using neuron graphs because if we are going to pay for the pings from Verdance, that means that she already decomposed, and we are already dead at that point. So we shouldn't be paying for the pings, and we should go face. And Skullhorn is there if they send big spells. We can, with yellows, we can prevent some damage, and we can fix our hand with the Skullhorn once and get an extra Intimidate. Here they start with a Lightning Strike and then gaining 1 life. They drew poorly, maybe some reds. So here I already start with an Agility token, which is great, especially if we have a Show of Strength in hand. They don't have an arsenal though, so here as we can see, I start with an Agility token, but we have a Wall Ride in hand and another Show of Strength and a blue. So if I were to play this hand, maybe I will throw Show of Strength and then another Show of Strength, sending 16 already in turn 1. Or maybe I should have started with Ravenous Meataxe with Go Again, intimidating a card, hitting for 5, and then with any of the other attacks in hand, attack for 8 or maybe 6. But here I decided to go face and present as much damage as possible. 16 is great for card 16. And here the opponent blocked with everything. They even got an arsenal or a ponder token for the next turn, but they didn't decompose this turn, so that's great for us. Here we draw again our last copy of Show of Strength and Wild Ride. So here I could, there are so many lines here. I could even send the Assault and Battery, discarding Wild Ride maybe, and create the Agility token and have the Show of Strength in arsenal, but I decided to go face, to go white here, so I start with Pulpin, and well, we discarded our last copy of Show of Strength, so we are not running 3 copies already of our Show of Strength card. We drew into a blue, so we can send here the Assault and Battery without the Beat Chest ability, or we can send Ravenous Meataxe trying to discard maybe a Silex or get a better arsenal target. So here the opponent blocked with 2 cards. We didn't get to intimidate the D-React. So here again, as I said before, the opponent is left with no cards in hand, and Ravenous Meataxe is coming for 5, so preventing them from decompose if they had a D-React or something like that. And then we have now a much better arsenal target for later. So we have a Savage Fist already in arsenal. Maybe here they will send a Felon of the Crown or even Plow Under. They pitched for the weapon and they are attacking again, or using their spells. So this is going for 7, and I decide to pay here 2. I'm not sure if this is the correct line. I had already blue and I had Wall Ride in hand, so I could go for Wild Ride again, drawing, discarding, and then maybe send the Reckless Stampede or even the Savage Fist from Arsenal. So here, though, I go for the, let's say, safest option. I don't think that's correct, since the opponent doesn't have an Arsenal. We should be the aggressor here and try to present as much damage as possible. So I'm not sure what I did here after that, so let's see, because I don't see a hand that is quite optimal. So okay, I see what I'm doing here. Probably is, again, it's not the best option, but I'm trying to play maybe a bit more like mid-range game here at the beginning of the game and send this Reckless Stampede for 7. It is great against Verdance because they want to block. We tend to win the clashes, so here we won the first clash. Now we saw a Silex on top, and again we won that Silex in our hand for a probable wider turn. So here they fully blocked, but they even took 2 points of damage. And here again, this is coming for 0, I mean for 1, and okay, the opponent sent some kind of disruption here. We didn't want, I didn't want to lose the Arsenal, so I decided to pay 2. And well, it's quite difficult to think how to pitch here, because we have so many options actually. I pitched with Wrecker Rump blue, so maybe here I'm just trying again to play the mid-range game a little bit to set up a big turn, and maybe playing just the Bird Fangs, pitching a blue, trying to discard Silex. Let's see, we didn't get to block again with our equipment, so we will lose value if we break Savage Chess or Beaten Dragons here. So let's see what the opponent does later. They didn't decompose yet. So here, instead of playing the Bird Fangs, I go for Sand Sketched Plan, fetching Beast Within. Perfect, that's what we want to do, discarding our Silex. So now we have a ROM token on demand, and we can send probably Bird Fangs for 8. If it were me in the past, I would do that, but I sent this Savage Fist. I don't think that's the correct line there. It's true that after drawing the card, I drew a miss, a non-attack, so these Bird Fangs would have gone for only 6 with no extra Intimidate. But I think it was the correct line to do, sending 6 or 8 and have the Savage Feast with the ROM token especially for later. So here I decided to send 6 and draw we don't know what. So I don't think that's the correct line again, but let's see how it pays off in the future. So here, since okay, since we had 2 action points from Sand Sketched Plan, if we pitched for the Bird Fangs and then discard whatever, we didn't have any extra action points. Sorry, we didn't have any extra resource points. So I understand now that I sent the Savage Fist, pitching a yellow, having 1 resource floating, so sending 6. Whatever comes from the draw, we can send again Ravenous Meataxe, hopefully intimidating 1 more card. So again, I think now that's the correct line, thanks to the 2 action points that we had from our from our Sand Sketched plan. So here we intimidated thrice from Sand Sketched plan, from Savage Fist, and then last time from Ravenous Meataxe. Ravenous Meataxe is trying to chip some damage, sending 5, 5, 5, intimidating 1 card after another, and trying to make the opponent block, maybe not efficiently or as efficient as they would love to do. Here again they are just sending 6, and I decided to not pay for that. We have our Rum token, we have Savage Fist, we have a blue, so we can again be aggressive here, not lose any cards, and try to intimidate as much as possible and go through their defenses. I think here if we didn't pay for the arcane damage, we should be breaking that Rum and then maybe either attack with Ravenous Meataxe or with Savage Fist. But again, another line is to just send this Assault and Battery for 6, discarding a 6, and get an Agility token. So we have our Savage Fist in arsenal with an Agility token, with a Rum token, and we can try to go as wide as possible. They block with a D-React from arsenal, and here the opponent kept 4 cards in their hand, so I expect them to attack, and hopefully they attack with some kind of physical damage, so I can use my equipment and then get use of their abilities. So let's see, we drew a great hand, I would say. We have a great blocker there with a Vigorous Smash Up, that if we win the clash we will have 1 resource floating for our Savage Fist, which is amazing if we don't have to pay for it. Here I'm checking the graveyard, a bit of everything, and the opponent starts with gaining some life. That's okay. Probably they will send some kind of damage. They didn't block at all, just with 1 card from arsenal. So again, this Verdance is trying to use as much as arcane damage as possible, and here we have the first Felling of the Crown that would come for 4, but that is asking for a card from our hand, thus reducing our damage output on the next turn. So here I'm thinking about what to put on the bottom, and I decided, and I don't know if that's correct, I decided to sink the Vigorous Smash Up and only block with the equipment. So well, I'm keeping my hand to have resources, since Savage Fist only cost 1 with any yellow we can send Savage Fist into another attack, probably Stronger Survive or Ravenous Meataxe. So let's see here what we do. The opponent decomposed 3 cards, and they prefer to attack with a Felon instead of the Plow Under. That's better for us in this case. And let's see what we do here. We have the GDT, and we are sending for sure the Savage Fist with Go Again, and we are drawing a Wall Ride. So this is great for us, it's a great attack, but if we, let's say if we play the Wall Ride, we will have only 1 resource floating, so we could not extend our turn with Ravenous Meataxe unless we destroy our Savage Sash. And I don't know if I like that option, because if we destroy the Savage Sash, so we can send the Wall Ride here, we can draw a red, discard the yellow, and then with no resources we are not able to send the Ravenous Meataxe anyway. So probably I will just I'm not sure if I will send Ravenous Meataxe, hopefully not discarding this Wall Ride to have it in our arsenal, or maybe just discarding the Agile Wind-Up to have again another agility token. It's true that we are not using much if we are not attacking more than once per turn. So we'll see what the opponent does and what we will do afterwards. Depending on the blocks as well, we can think if we want to intimidate more, if we want to attack more. They just block 3 plus mental block. So they are keeping 2 cards in hand again, maybe sending another spell or Plow Under or Felling of the Crown. And here, as I said, I think that's the best option. If the opponent only has 1 card in hand, we can make sure to intimidate the last card and send 5, 5, 5, and reduce their life totals little by little. Here they use their gloves already, so that's great for us. They're at 18, we are at 25. They have only 3 cards, 3 earth cards, sorry. In the Bunny Zone here, I think we intimidated the cards that they wanted to block, because with 2 cards maybe they had 2 reds or D-reacts. So here we have again the tempo. We drew a great hand for keeping that tempo and that pressure. So we have a Wall Ride and we have a blue. We could, yeah, exactly, we could break Savage Sash here and try to go as wide as possible. We have the possibility of breaking Beaten Trackers here, so gain another action point. We have the Ram token as well. We could send here lots of damage. I mean, we have Swim Big that costs only 1 now. Skull Crack, so we could present here maybe 20 or more points of damage through maybe 1 or multiple intimidates. So here I decided first of all not to destroy the Beaten Trackers and see what the opponent does, how they block, and then we will follow from there. We have the possibility of breaking now the rum and send Skullcrack or Swim Big for 8. Okay, they start and they keep decomposing now. They have 6 cards, 6 earth cards in their vanish zone. So here we need to continue our attack, and then with the 2 resources that we have, I decided to send Ravenous Meataxe, intimidating again their last card in hand so they cannot block, destroying the beaten trackers. And here with a yellow we can do Rum, Skullcrack and Swim Big for a turn without Blow Rush below. That is 6, 5, 6 and 8, so that's 25 with 2 intimidates. And now the opponent is at 3, we are at 25, and we didn't see any Blow Rush below yet. That's great. That's how the deck should work, especially against Verdance, as I said earlier. And here again, opponent is trying to reduce our life totals through arcane damage. Here I was checking probably their graveyard in case to check how many D-reacts they used already, to see the popping, if I would use it or not. Here probably the opponent is keeping 1 card in arsenal, so we could pay 2 for the arcane damage, send this send pack in to get some information, especially if they don't have more equipment, only 1 point of defense on their equipment, so we can know what they have in arsenal and keep our popping in arsenal for future turns. I think that's the correct line. Here though, the opponent didn't arsenal a card, so our send packing is not as powerful as before. However, we have a popping that is going to go through no matter what, so we could send this send packing without an arsenal. That is not great. I mean, they're at 5, they need to block anyway. Or we can go for the popping line, which allows us to intimidate and then send again Ravenous Meataxe for hopefully 5. And they are in a weird position here. They need to block as much as they can. Here they are blocking 4 and not 5. And this Ravenous Meataxe is again intimidating 1 more card, so this will go through again 2 points of damage. Opponent is at 1, we are 21. We are in a very comfortable position, and here we draw a not so powerful or useful hand with no blues, 2 reds and 2 Blood Rush Bellows. It was about time. And here the opponent sends 6, and with 2 misses in hand we could as I'm checking here, I'm checking their graveyard in case they have some kind of gain life cards that they can use as instant and not die again because of the popping. I'm checking as well the D-reacts, so they could block 4 and then gain 2 life I'm also seeing that if I have 2 misses in hand, if I pitch with Blow Rush Bellow here for the pulping, I could discard the other Blow Rush Bellow. So I'm thinking about the blocks here. I could block with 1 Blow Rush and 1 Vigorous Smash Up to guarantee a 6 on top of the deck, and then send the pulping, pitching the Blow Rush. But here I'm deciding to not block, so I would say that I would play the Blow Rush Bellows, pitching the other one, hopefully not discarding the pulping, and well, trying to send as much damage as possible through intimidating. And here we discarded the red, we drew a blue and a 6, a yellow, so here we could just send popping for 8, intimidating, dominate, and to close and finish the game. As I said before, Blow Rush Bellows in this deck are not the main threat. I mean, they are not the main card that if we don't see our Blow Rush Bellows, we're not gonna win the game. It is not the case. They are a great finisher, like here for example, but the deck has many ways to chip damage through Intimidate, through Ravenous Meataxe for 5, and then we have many great lines together with Agility tokens, Ram tokens, to present enough damage to win the game. So here we finish the game with a life lead, life advantage of so many points. We can see the value per turn here, which is great, and the most important thing is we didn't allow the opponent to block efficiently, and they were all constantly deciding when to block and how to block, because they knew that at the end of the turn Ravenous Meataxe would come for 5. So here the deck worked pretty well, as it should, especially against Verdance. I hope you liked the game, and again, if you have any comments, please leave them down below. Thank you for your feedback and thank you for watching. See you.